Hi guys. So last week I didn't really do a vlog like this because I don't know. There was just like not too much going on. I was just like, I feel like sometimes I'm just on here chatting. But today I'm going to brunch with some of my closest friends. I'm sorry, what am I talking about? I am not going to brunch. Cancel that out. I am going to dinner, to happy hour with some of my closest friends. And honestly, after the day I had, I just really need it. Like, I just really need it because, folks, check on your friends in education. I don't care what capacity. Like, I don't care what capacity. I don't care if your friend is a sub. I don't care if your friend is a para. I don't care if your friend is a receptionist. I don't care if your friend is principal, vice principal, superintendent, assistant superintendent, director of curriculum, person who passes out the worksheets. I really don't care. Check on your people in education because there is so much going on. Okay? And you're hearing it from me. And I know you don't know me personally, but I am one of those people who, I would say by trait, I'm pretty much an overachiever. I'm always pushing myself, just pushing myself. I am my hardest critic. I am the person who's always pushing myself to do more, to say more, to learn more, to grow more. And a lot of the time, people like myself, we kind of just put our heads down and we just perform and we just show up and we just rise to the occasion in spite of, regardless. And what I'm seeing, especially in these post-pandemic years of teaching and learning, there's just so much going on. And with this uncharted territory, it's a lot. It's a lot mentally, physically, emotionally, period. Check on your friends in education. Today, not only did we have multiple circumstances that needed administrative attention, but we also ended the day with a code red. And code red drills obviously are put in place to prepare us for situations where we need to go into a lockdown circumstance, right? We have to go into lockdown. We have to prepare our staff and students to know what those drills are like so that in the event that we have to call a code red for any reason, they know what the drill is. They know what the deal is, right? But it's also like, in a time where so much is happening, in a time where anything can happen, it's so heavy. And on a day like today, when there was already so much going on, to end the day like that, I immediately left. Most times, I'm the teacher who's still kind of lingering around, talking to students, 4 o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I'm finishing up something for the next day, 5:30, I might be grading still. I live really close to home, so a lot of the times I don't take work home, so I'll do my work before I have to go home because I don't do work at home for work. I do everything at school. So, today I just had to go. Today I just had to go. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I love what I do with every fiber of my being. I absolutely love the field of education. I don't want to do anything else. I always want to be in education to some capacity. And I love working with young people. Like, there's nothing that brings me greater joy than to laugh with them, than to learn with them, than to teach them. Like, I love my job. I really can't stress how much I love my job. But I also understand and empathize with people who leave the profession because it is so much. And especially post-COVID with these uncharted waters, I I feel like a lot of people just simply don't know what to do to be able to come back the next day. Like, it's like, how do I do this job that's so heavy some days and like come back the next day, wipe away everything that happened, and get in front of kids and teach and learn and smile and, you know, put my best face on. So, I don't know. I just really want you to take a moment, and if you know anyone in education, just check on them. Just check on them. How are you doing? How are you holding up? A lot of the times I see my kids, and I teach an advisory period, which is the period right in the middle of the day. So it's lunch and advisory. And I always ask my kids when they come in, we do a check-in every day, but I always ask them, how are you keeping up? What do you need to end this week successfully? Or sometimes it's even just to get through the rest of the day. How do you get through the next 3 periods, successfully without, feeling how you're feeling, or without spazzing out, or, just happily? How do you end the day? And I think I'm going to push myself to just do the same for my people in education and not in education, but just asking people, how are you holding up? What do you need? What can you identify as a need? What can you identify as the next step to, completing the day, completing the month, completing the week, completing the year happily? Because we are living in a time where there is so much that we could use to be sad about, to be depressed about. And if we stay there, like, it's dark. It's really a dark place to live. And I talked about it a little bit in my first vlog, but 2020 was a really dark year for me. And ever since then, I have made it a really prime goal of mine to end every day with 2 things. And those 2 things are grace and, to some degree, positivity. Giving myself grace for the things that I didn't do, whether it's something that's still on my to-do list, whether it's something that I didn't do as well as I could have, maybe it's something I said and I didn't need to say it that way. Giving myself grace, understanding that I'm human too, and then being positive about something. Okay, but you made that kid laugh. Okay, but so-and-so said that joke, and even though it was inappropriate, you corrected him in a way that he could learn from it instead of feeling ashamed. You have life. You have a roof over your head. You have a car. You are working on the degree that you didn't think you were going to go back to work on. I always try to remind myself of little positives, because that is what carries me into the next day, and that's what gets me up the next morning. If I end the day on the fact of how heavy today was, how could I go back to work? How could I show up? I have a classroom full of kids. I have a full school of kids who look to me to be that middle ground. I don't know what their lives are like outside of here. And some of the lives that I do know what their lives are not, what they're like, they're not good. So it's like, I could either be that person who prides myself on starting on a positive and graceful note daily and bringing that energy with me, or I can make it just as heavy as they're going to make it, because they're already bringing their luggage and their load with them each and every day they walk through those school doors. So I said a lot. I didn't plan this video. I just felt like I had something on my heart to say. But check on your friends in education. Also, just check on your people, period. Ask them, how are you holding up? There's so much going on. Someone's little might be big to you. Someone's big to them might be little to you. But however it weighs, however it falls, just check in on your people. Checking in on yourself too. Ask yourself, how are you holding up? Are you exhausted? Do you need to fill your cup? What filled your cup? Like right now, me driving to go see my friends after a long day, when I know we're going to laugh and eat good food, and just like unwind, that fills my cup. My friends, the people I have in my life, fill my cup. Before this, I called my boyfriend and I just kind of gave him an earful, and I never really tell him, and maybe I should, but the fact that he just listens, and he really doesn't have to, y'all. He is not an education. He's a scientist. He does not need to hear my teacher nonsense every day. Okay? He does not need to hear it. But he just sits and he listens and he like validates. Sometimes he pushes back depending on what the situation is. Sometimes he'll question me. But like, just to know, like, sometimes I do just talk to myself, but just to know that I don't have to, because he will be that listening ear for me, that also fills my cup more than he knows. So the point of this video is check in and refill your cup, because I don't care what you do something every day and you need energy, the energy you give off and the energy you have in order to perform. And it is just so important that you are being mindful of where you're at, pausing when you need, but also refilling your cup when it's time to do so. So I hope that my little card chit chat said something to someone. Hopefully there's something in this video that you could go back and say, that was the zinger. And if not, thank you for listening anyway. I hope that you have a lovely rest of your Tuesday, and I will be back with the next one. Bye, guys.